two things. Number one, first appreciating, generations within the church, number one. And number two, learning how to work within the structure to change the structure so it can be a better structure. Does that make sense? Yes. The reason, just so you know, there's a method to the madness. Number one is the reason when somebody says hello and I was telling you to respond, because older generations, and what we're going to talk about as we build relationships, one of the main things they don't like is when I talk to you, you don't talk back to me. Have you talked to Oprah and they want to say, yes, man? And even while they're talking, they want you to say, because if you don't, what do they start doing? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Because you're not giving them feedback. So a lot of times you get up and say good morning and you just look right back at them. They thinking they don't have your attention. So they raise their voice and start doing other things. Two, we went around and we saw everybody's favorite foods. Whose favorite food was wrong?
I guess it's mine. Yeah.
But seriously, whose favorite food was wrong?
Nobody.
So even within the church structure, we have to learn to be very careful too in saying the way somebody does church is wrong.
Yes.
Because everybody can have their particular preferences. I can't tell you just because you like this, that's wrong or that's bad. That's you. Do you? Don't force me to like it just because you like it. And that's something that we want to consider as we build this workshop. I'm going to kind of talk. Go ahead. What time are you? Oh, okay. Now, this is one thing I want you to consider. Think about this. In your current structure, right? In your current church structure, we want you to enjoy the complete church experience, the spiritual experience. We're not talking about church service particularly, but the whole spiritual experience, your spiritual growth from point A to the end, right? Tell me, in your opinion, just speak freely, to enjoy the complete spiritual experience of your life, in the added component that the church adds, what's important to you? The preacher? What else? Well, let me ask you why.
I feel like, I don't know, to have a good preacher, somebody that's delivering the word, and someone that can grasp my attention, that's very important because to me, my attention span is very short. Okay. And it's like, I love music, but it's just like after the fifth song, the sixth song, I'm like dozing off. But a good preacher that can deliver the message and I can get it real good, that's somebody that can, to me, I feel like that's good. That's good. Anybody else? Something that, yes?
Praise and worship.
Praise and worship? Why?
Because that kind of tills the ground, so to speak, breaks up hardness. If you come to church and you're heavy, you got something on your mind and you have problems during the day, it kind of lifts, you're taking off the garment of heaviness and putting on the garment of praise. So it kind of lifts the spirit and kind of sets your mind for receiving the word of God.
I got you. Praise and worship, preaching, what else? Go ahead. Prayer?
I believe that once you start a service off in prayer, somebody can be really going through something, and just by praying over that group, you can be breaking a lot of strongholds, a lot of spirits that may have entered into the church, and prayer is very important. Get people in the right mindset.
I would agree. Anything else? Now I want you to think complete spiritual experience. I'm talking about not just when you're at the building, but your complete spiritual fellowship. Why is that important?
Because it helps build you up, helps have people to support you, hold you accountable, and to remind you of who you are.
Right. Yes, sir.
Friendship and as well as probably even the church websites having Facebook or something like that, being up to date.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Personal devotion and more intimate than just fellowships, but like a prayer partner or somebody that you share things that you're going through with, and somebody that who's praying with you on a specific situation, and not someone who's just corporately pray for you. You know,
Right,
that
right.
really does work
Right.
spiritual.
Right. Anybody else? Your whole spiritual experience. Yes, ma'am.
Variety.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been in a lot of different churches. For instance, you may have, and this is personal experience, you know, the structure was like, okay, we're going to praise and worship, all hymns, and then maybe, you know, a deacon, so-and-so, and then the preaching. Variety, I like, you know, artistic gifts to be used, exhortation, maybe somebody give a word of encouragement, and then good music, you know, music
Right.
ministry, just like a variety,
Right.
and, you know, not entertainment, just variety.
Yeah. Anything else? Preaching, praise and worship. Okay. I've been trying to remember. Prayer, fellowship, friendship, devotion, intimate devotion time, variety. Yes, ma'am.
Sunday schools and fasting.
Sunday school and fasting. Why?
Because Sunday school is like a chance to like cultivate the knowledge of like godliness and mindset of the people, and like fasting is kind of goes under like what she was saying earlier, like kind of goes under that whole area of like personal devotion only.
Intimate fellowship.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Now, let me pose a question to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Key, I guess one of the key would be God focused. And
God focused.
What I mean by that is a lot of services between the devotion or your praise service, you come in, then you have your announcements.
Yeah.
And a lot of times between that, where the service has already gotten to a level,
And
then it drops down
Yeah.
between the announcements because all the talking that's going on,
Yeah.
and now the choir has to come and try to pick it back up, and it's a struggle between. But when the service is God focused,
Right.
it doesn't leave room for that, because once the service is at that level, it flows all the way through and steady climbs.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Yes, sir.
Fellowship and being on one accord.
Yeah. You mean as far as the whole
The whole
body?
Because when everybody may not agree with everything that everybody does, but everybody can be on one accord. And in that sense, it strengthens the anointing and things
Yeah.
like that, and the service improves.
That makes sense. Thought I saw